So, as many people have warned, especially after the overturn of Roe v. Wade, that the Supreme Court, even by their own admission, were going to be coming for the same-sex marriage ruling next. That, to anyone paying attention, that was obvious. We knew it was going to come. It was a matter of when it was going to come. Now, this isn't, the Supreme Court seeking this on their own behalf, but it is now an appeal being brought to the Supreme Court that we're going to learn about. And it just, it's just another thing to show you of the political environment we are in right now in the United States, which feels more like, I don't know, the fucking 50s or 60s, with just how much we've just taken things that we thought was, like, hey, same-sex marriage, we're all on the same page of that. Nope. Like, here we are. Supreme Court formally asked to overturn landmark same-sex marriage ruling. 10 years after the Supreme Court extended marriage rights to same-sex couples nationwide, the justices this fall will consider for the first time whether to take up a case that explicitly asks them to overturn that decision. And in this Supreme Court environment, the same people who overturned Roe v. Wade, I don't know, man. I don't know how this is going to go. I honestly, my betting odds are more in favor of them actually, like, overturning this. Not by a lot, but it's definitely more likely than not, in my opinion. Kim Davis, the former Kentucky county clerk who was jailed for 6 days, oh no, 6 days, in 2015 for refusing to issue marriage licenses to a gay couple on religious grounds, is appealing a $100,000 jury verdict for emotional damages plus $260,000 for attorney's fees. What a stupid ass thing. Oh my God. Republicans and these, more specifically in this case, these fucking religious zealots, these fucking religious freaks who just are obsessed with people's personal lives, are such fucking victims, man. And they're such awful people, like just garbage people, man. In a petition for writ of certiorari filed last month, Davis argues First Amendment protection for free exercise of religion immunizes her from personal liability for the denial of marriage licenses. What? Ugh, Jesus Christ. And they'll like try to like bend the First Amendment in a way to protect them, but then when it comes to like someone saying like, hey, I don't think we should be committing a genocide in Gaza, it's like, that's not protected by free speech, bro. That's just straight up terrorism. More fundamentally, she claims the High Court's decision in Obergefell versus Hodges, extending marriage rights for same-sex couples under the 14th Amendment due process protections, was egregiously wrong. Hey, you dumb fucking cunt. Have you ever heard of separation of church and state? Ideally, no one is supposed to give a shit about your religious preferences. Like, fuck off. All right. If your religion is like, yeah, gay people suck and they shouldn't have the same rights as it's like straight couples, go fuck yourself. I don't care what your religion says. You can take your religion and shove it up your fucking ass. God, these people are so weird. Fucking freaks, man. Just like, oh my God. Let people alone. Let people alone. Let people live their lives. The mistake must be corrected, wrote Davis's attorney, Matthew Staver. In the petition, he calls Justice Anthony Kennedy's majority opinion in Obergefell legal fiction. The petition appears to mark the first time since 2015 that the court has been formally asked to overturn the landmark marriage decision. Davis is seen as one of the only Americans currently with legal standing to bring a challenge to the precedent. And also, I just thought of this too. It's amazing how these religious people and conservatives will be like, man, these liberals, they keep trying to force their beliefs on us. They keep telling us like not to say the N-word. They keep telling us to treat people equally. They want us to like let gay people be together. Like they keep forcing their ideologies on us. It's like you do the exact same thing, but actually in a way that restricts people's personal freedoms. You see the difference here? Allowing people to get abortions, allowing gay people or same-sex couples to get married, that doesn't infringe on your personal rights. It expands your personal rights. You don't have to utilize them in your own household, or, you can think however you want. But that freedom exists for other Americans. But you guys want to interject your fucking religious slop to restrict the rights of other Americans. You see the difference here? You see the difference here. Please tell me you do. The petition, okay, I think I already read that. I'm losing my mind here, man. It's just, this is such an issue that I shouldn't be talking about right now. I should not be talking about right now. If there was ever a case of exceptional importance, Staver wrote, the first individual in the Republic's history who was jailed for following her religious convictions regarding the historic definition of marriage, this should be it. Lower courts had dismissed Davis's claims, and most legal experts consider her bid a long shot. A federal appeals court panel concluded earlier this year that the former clerk cannot raise the First Amendment as a defense because she is being held liable for state action, which the First Amendment does not protect. Davis, as the Rowan County clerk in 2015, was the sole authority tasked with issuing marriage license on behalf of the government under state law. Not a single judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals showed any interest in Davis's rehearing petition, and we are confident the Supreme Court will likewise agree that Davis's arguments do not merit further attention, said William Powell, attorney for David Ermold and David Moore, the now married Kentucky couple that sued Davis for damages, in a statement to ABC News. A renewed campaign to reverse a legal precedent. Davis's appeal to the Supreme Court comes as conservative opponents of marriage rights for same-sex couples pursue a renewed campaign to reverse legal precedent and allow each state to set its own policy. At the time Obergefell was decided in 2015, 35 states had statutory or constitutional bans on same-sex marriages, according to the National Conference of State Legislators. Only 8 states had enacted laws explicitly allowing the unions. That's crazy. That was the state in 2015. America is so fucking backwards, man. Holy shit. So far in 2025, at least 9 states have either introduced legislation aimed at blocking new marriage licenses for LGBTQ people or passed resolutions urging the Supreme Court to reverse Obergefell at the earliest opportunity, according to the advocacy group Lambda Legal. In June, the Southern Baptist Convention, the nation's largest Protestant Christian denomination, overwhelmingly voted to make overturning of laws and court rulings, including Obergefell versus Hodges, that defy God's design for marriage and family, a top priority. Like, do we have separation of church and state, or do we not? Because I'm convinced we just don't. We just don't. Support for equal marriage rights softening. While a strong majority of Americans favor equal marriage rights, support appears to have softened in recent years, according to Gallup. 60% of Americans have supported same-sex marriages in 2015, rising to 70% in 2025, but that level has plateaued since 2020. Among Republicans, support has noticeably dipped over the past decade, down from 55% in 2021 to 41% this year, Gallup found. Dude, Republicans and conservatism are a modern fucking cancer in politics. I don't care how controversial that is, but it's true. It's true. Only 41% of Republicans support gay marriage. Insane. Insane. Like, they just give they scream about small government and like personal freedoms and liberties and don't tell me what to do, but they want to tell everyone what to do, mainly because of their fucking backwards ass religion. Davis' petition argues that the issue of marriage should be treated the same way the court handled the issue of abortion in 2020 in its 2022 decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. She zeroes in on Justice Clarence Thomas's concurrence in that case, in which he explicitly called for revisiting Obergefell. I remember that. The justices should reconsider all the court's substantive due process precedents, including Griswold, Lawrence, and Obergefell, Thomas wrote at the time, referring to the landmark decisions dealing with fundamental right to privacy, due process, and equal protection rights. It is hard to say where things will go, but this will be a long slog considering how popular same-sex marriage is now, said Josh Blackman, a prominent conservative constitutional scholar and professor at South Texas College of Law. Blackman predicts many members of the Supreme Court's conservative majority would want prospective challenges to Obergefell to percolate in lower courts before revisiting the debate. The court is expected to formally consider Davis's petition this fall during a private conference when the justices discuss which cases to add to their docket. If the case is accepted, it would likely be scheduled for oral argument next spring and decided by the end of June 2026. The court could also decline the case, allowing a lower court ruling to stand and avoid entirely the request to revisit Obergefell. Justices Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett seem wildly uninterested. Maybe Justice Neil Gorsuch, too, and Sarah Isgur and ABC News legal analysis and host of the legal podcast Advisory Opinions. There's no world in which the court takes the case as a straight gay marriage case. It would have to come up as a lower court holding that Obergefell binds judges to accept some other kind of non-traditional marital agreement. Rulings wouldn't invalidate existing marriages. If the rulings were to be overturned at some point in the future, it would not invalidate marriages already performed. Legal experts have pointed out the 2022 Respect for Marriage Act requires the federal government and all states to recognize marriage of same-sex interracial couples performed in any state, even if there is a future change in the law. Davis first appealed the Supreme Court in 2019, seeking to have the damages suit against her tossed out, but her petition was rejected. Conservative Justices Thomas and Samuel Alito concurred with the decision at the time. The petition implicates important questions about the scope of our decision in Obergefell, but it does not clearly present them. Many LGBTQ advocates say they are apprehensive about the shifting legal and political landscape around marriage rights. Dude, the shifting legal and political landscape on everything, man. On everything. There are an estimated 823,000 married same-sex couples in the U.S., including 591,000 that wed after the Supreme Court decision in 2015, according to the Williams Institute at UCLA Law School. Nearly 1 in 5 of those married couples is parenting a child under 18. Since the Obergefell decision, the makeup of the Supreme Court has shifted rightward, now including 3 appointees of President Donald Trump and a 6-justice conservative supermajority. Chief Justice John Roberts, among the current members of the court who dissented in Obergefell a decade ago, sharply criticized the ruling at the time as an act of will, not legal judgment, with no basis in the Constitution. He warned that it creates serious questions about religious liberty. Dude, I fucking don't care about your religious liberty. I don't. If your religious liberty involves restricting the rights of others, then fuck off. Fuck off. I don't care. I do not care. We are not supposed to be a country governed by religious laws. We are supposed to have separation of church and state. But, of course, like, we're supposed to have a lot of things like reasonable checks and balances and all this, but that has fallen apart in 8 months. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd ask you what you guys think, but, like, I really don't care if you're going to come out here and be like, the legalization of same-sex marriage is an attack on religious liberties. Fuck off. I don't care. Save it. I'll see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below. And if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.